There we go, the sound's on, and I did just hear someone. I did just hear race control J. I don't know what's happened there. I don't want to go into race director. I do want to check in race director, but I can't because it'll just kick us out the game. The game has too many bugs, and it will kick me off spectating if I try and go into the race director. I'm not really sure why Jay is being disqualified. Or what's happened there. I need to do a bit of audio settings, so just give me a moment. Hello, Ern. Right. What we need to do, as we figured out last week, we need to figure out onboard. So I need to turn the onboard down, but I don't know how they want me to do this. So as as someone who's watching, just the other cars, I might have just knocked the master volume down, which isn't great. But when I'm on board with the car, it's so loud that it's genuinely just like you can't hear me. So we'll knock down. We'll knock down by 4. Yes, Ern, I saw you. I think actually no, we're not. Race control. Creative Coconut has been disqualified. 2 disqualifications already in this race, and here you are, Ern. I can see you. Powering your way down the straight, reaching absolutely ridiculous speeds there. You can see up to 2 miles an hour there. Weimar has set the lap time to be a 1:25.8 around Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina circuit course, which is normally the circuit. Just hang on, give me 1 moment. The famous Latifi corner there. I'm back, and 2 seconds taken off Weemart's time. Dirty Spy goes absolutely rapid over the line. Shotmaker gets a 1:24.5, so he's pretty much bang in the middle of the 2 drivers that have set times there. Ziobati goes a 1:25.4, which is not great in comparison to Dirty Spy's time, which is just a ridiculous lap time, really. It's a fair play to him. But we have Rayner, yes, has set a time of 1:24.3. Dirty Spy just looks absolutely in control with the pace already, and we're only in minute 13 of qualifying. We've still got 13 minutes to go, but he looks ridiculously quick already around this circuit. However, you're gonna have to excuse me for a second. I'm gonna have to leave the commentary, so I'm not sure. Who should we spectate? Should we spectate Dirty Spy? Should we spectate Rayner? Because I'm gonna be AFK for a second. Well, I say a second. It'll be a few minutes because I've got to do something. But we will keep the stream running. Mikhail's done a fast lap as well, a 1:23.9. This is turning out to be. It looks like it could be a close session, but it looks like Rayner lacking in pace a little bit in comparison to his rivals here. We'll stay on board with Rayner, and we'll have a look at what his laps are shaping up to be like. Obviously, he's about to finish one possibly. I'll also get all of the details up, telemetry, lap data, and full track map, so that we can see the times going over as well. If only there was a way to put it on an auto camera. Anyway, I'm just going to leave for a minute. I need to get a few things set up as well, but yeah, we won't be long, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to mute the microphone though, and you can watch. Who are we thinking? I'm thinking probably go to someone who's. We'll stick with Rayner, just because he needs to get a better lap. Current championship leader, we might as well. Right, I will see you in a few minutes. Well, I'm sorry for being away. We've got 10 people watching. So hello everyone to the 10 people. It's not saying much about me. If I wasn't here, they must have been rejoicing in the fact that I wasn't speaking. Well, unfortunately for the 10 people watching, I'm back, so you've got to listen to my voice. Whilst I was gone, no one's been able to top Dirty Spy's time. He's even improved it to a 123.5. Rayner down in 6th, hasn't been able to improve his time either. Fast and Furious, though, 123.7. That is a very impressive time, actually, from the man in the Aston Martin. Domi and William Omar have both disqualified, or DNF from the session since I've been away as well. We keep getting yellow flags, and that will be the Mercedes of Sindro. I'll call him Sindro. Yellow flags are gone, and we've got 8 seconds left in this session. Rayner on an invalidated lap means that pole, unless... Well, hang on a minute. Oh, no, Fast and Furious is down on his lap time as well. I think that means that Dirty Spy has got pole. Mikhail. Coming around, we do not have a sprint race around Abu Dhabi. I don't think, at least. Mikhail will round the final corner. Can he improve? Yes, he can, and he will take pole. By the skin of his teeth, he crosses the line, lights the tracker with purple, and that is a blistering lap time, a 123.4. Dirty Spy, he's still on the lap though. Can he improve? We saw he was 1400ths down on his lap time, but anything can happen in this final sector. He's now 800ths up on his time. Mikhail could celebrate for a second, but it's not over. Dirty Spy still going round the track. Anything could happen in the final stages of this qualifying session, and it's all gone quite interesting. Rayner will cross the line and will not be able to improve his lap time, so 5th place will be the best he can start from. But Dirty Spy is on an invalidated lap. Oh no! He's exceeded the track limit, and he will cross the line, and we'll see now as he crosses what that time would have been. And it would have been enough to put him on pole, but he got invalidated, and that's that. So Dirty Spy did the lap, he got the lap to get pole, but he got invalidated, and it doesn't count. So I think that does mean that Mikhail, unlikely, I wasn't expecting it, but Mikhail is really showing up around Abu Dhabi, around Yas Marina, and he will be on pole for the race. Brilliant scenes, brilliant qualifying session as well. Yeah, so the 9 people watching, stick around for the race, this is going to be an interesting one. So how will we have a look down the rest of the order? Of course, Mikhail starts on pole, just under a 10th faster than Dirty Spy, who starts second, showing incredible pace. Behind them, Fast and Furious in the Aston Martin couldn't improve his lap time, but he gets third. Good lap from him. Forrest Jump fourth. Good from Forrest Jump. He's really been getting up there this season. Obviously 5/10 off the lead, but he has been faster than, well, current champion. Well, he's reigning at the moment. He's currently holding on to his championship as well. Rayner, who will start in 6th. I can get the stats up for the league as we do the formation lap. Fortunately, I don't think we've had the same glitch that we did last time round, and I think I am just spectating this time. I didn't have the same bug going in. I was making sure that nothing dodgy was happening there. I think we should be okay for this race, right? Yes, I think we'll be alright, thank goodness for that. Because if you weren't here, I accidentally got put onto my... Oh, hang on a minute, look at the mechanics here. They're all just stood doing the T-pose. They are... Clearly the model has glitched for them. They're kind of stood in their position. That's a bit interesting. Mercedes guys do have one guy sat down in a chair in the background, if you can see that. Interesting. Right, let's get the driver standings up then. Rayner goes into this race on 100 points. However, he's only 3 points clear of Totally No Pro. Right, here we are then. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix formation lap. Mikhail, who's on pole today, finds himself all the way down in... How far down is he? 5th place. 67 points. In front of him is Forrest Jump. Well, sorry, hang on. Let's go down the order properly then. Dirty Spy on the other hand, finds himself down in 7th place with only 44 points. He unfortunately DNF'd last race due to contact, which may or may not have been his fault. It was an interesting one. I think in the end, the thing got awarded to Rayner in the end, the penalty. But Dirty Spy's down in 7th. He'll want to, make a launch and try and win this race and get himself further up, because he's been driving really nicely, but doesn't have the points to show it at the moment. Fast and Furious then, the man who's starting from 3rd, he finds himself all the way down. And we're scrolling for a little bit. Maybe I've gone too far. No, hang on a minute. Where is he? On the standings, he's 10th with 18 points. But he has had a good qualifying session. He could definitely be up there. He was around a 10th and a half away from Mikhail's time. He could definitely be in the mix as well. Forrest Jump, he's the first one who's really kind of up there, along with Mikhail, of course. He's in 4th, 74 points, starting from 4th today. Then Rayner in 5th. Not a great qualifying from him, but we know what he can do over the span of a race. He's leading, obviously, with those 100 points, but behind him, with only 3 points behind him, is Totally No Pro with 97 points. The problem is, Totally No Pro isn't here, which is a bit anticlimactic, because I don't think, no matter what anyone does, actually, JLB, is he on the grid? JLB is not on the grid. Well, isn't that just superb news for Rayner? The only way someone would be able to get tie on points with him is if Forrest Jump wins the race with fastest lap and Rayner doesn't score any points. So at the moment he's looking pretty secure, but he'll still want to have a good race. William Omar, he is down there. I know he's down there somewhere, isn't he? Hang on a minute. Yeah, he's 25th as a reserve driver. Shotmaker, he's 20th. Not as a reserve, I don't think, though. He is actually there. Sindro is 27th reserve. Ernestas, these are all people that aren't in contention for the championship, though, and we're running out of time to speak. Domi's been disqualified off the start. Well, that's all we've got time to discuss at the moment. But ahead of us, in this beautiful landscape that is Abu Dhabi, can something big happen? Well, we've got 5 lights, and it's lights out and away we go. It looks like pretty even start. The Alfa Romeo has gone away well. The McLaren, on the other hand, hasn't. Into turn 1 we go. Really big lead then for Mikhail into that turn 1. Bit of contact possibly behind. We'll ride on board with the rear wing of Dirty Spy. He got away all right, managed to cover off Fast and Furious, but Mikhail had an absolute blinder of a start. Aston Martin is being gained on, though, by this Ferrari into the left-hander. Not close enough to go for any kind of move. William Omar, oh, hang on a minute, what's happened here? There's a bit of contact, 3-way contact, actually, between Sindro Ziabati and Domi. William Omar gets a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting and gaining 1 place, and that is a DRS, I think. Some DRS symbol thing in the background there got blown to smithereens by a car. It was the Williams of someone, possibly Jay. Right, looking further up this grid, Rayner makes up 1 place off the start, and someone I think has dropped down the order quite a bit, and that would be Forrest Jump, who finds himself all the way in 10th. So that wasn't a very good start for Forrest. I want to know what happened there, but riding on board with Rayner as we are now, you can really see, look at this, I mean, he's had a good start, and despite his slow laps in qualifying, he's keeping to the back of those other front 3 quite nicely indeed. As we look further back past at the grid, Domi is getting put under all kinds of pressure from Ziobati, and all spun around, it's Sindro, and he'll drop to the back of the pack. We've got a close gap, and look at this, around the outside, on Ziobati, goes Ernestas, and you can see this battle from the background view of Forrest Jump. They're going to be neck and neck down this straight, but Ernestas will get in front before turn 1. That was a really good move. 2 teammates battling it. Oh no, he spun around. He spun around, so after making that brilliant move, he's found himself at the bottom. Down the inside goes Forrest Jump, forcing Ziabati wide. Ziabati goes over the bumps and comes ahead of Forrest Jump, but they make contact. I don't know how he didn't go off the track there. Does he have damage to the front wing of that Red Bull? It doesn't look like it. He gets overtaken by his teammate, being Shotmaker. What on earth happened there? Forrest Jump got off really lucky there, and he makes his way back past his teammate using the slipstream down the straight. We're going to look back up the grid now, but I really think, and Shotmaker's getting done by Weemart and then Creative Coconut as he goes back into the back of Weemart. So yeah, he's really tumbled down the order again, hasn't he? Creative Coconut getting overtaking Weemart, actually. So good showing from the Haas car as of current. looking up the grid, it doesn't look like anyone else is too close to each other, except for Forest Jump on Ziobati. Weemont, though, looking to try and come back at Coconut. This has been a hectic start to this race, but it's definitely been an interesting one. I don't see Ziobati getting away with coming onto the track like that in such a dangerous way and hitting Forest Jump, because that could have ended horribly. Creative Coconut taking a wide line. Mikhail gets fastest lap. He's still leading this race on those medium tyres, which is a shout, because I haven't actually checked what tyres everyone's on. Possibly a bit of a lock-up into that final corner for Weimar. He was just a bit dodgy on the turn-in, and that the pack is a bit more spread out now. We can go back to this battle for first. Dirty Spy, who should have been on pole if he didn't make that one mistake and go too far out the white lines. He would have been on pole. But it's not worked like that. But here he comes. Oh no! What is his luck? What is the luck of that? We've got a virtual safety car. You can see it on the side there. And I was about to go, but here he comes for redemption for that pole lap. But he was cut short with the virtual safety car. Mikhail was saved by the bell. I think the DRS might have been open for Dirty Spy there. And he was about to overtake around the outside, down the inside. It depends on which way he wanted to go. But he was gaining on Mikhail at a ridiculous rate. And he was definitely about to get past. So, really unlucky for Dirty Spy there. Fast and Furious has been given a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. That's going to give him a lot bigger of a task to do now to try and hold on to that podium position. But we've gone racing yet again, and this is a decent restart for Dirty Spy, but he loses it through this next sector and is just a bit too far back from Mikhail to try and launch any kind of attack for now. I'm just still looking at the mini-map and at the timings, trying to find other drivers that are close together. And the only one I can really see is Ziobati on the AlphaTauri here, but that doesn't really look like it's going to allude to anything. So however, we have a ride on board with the Ferrari of Reina. These four have kept it very close between them, and it is really fun to watch, because you can see they're all taking similar lines, and they're all just racing really nicely. I can't fault any of them for their drive so far. It is really nice to see when you've got four drivers who can consistently keep up with each other. And it is going to be an interesting race. But Slipstream and a DRS for Dirty Spy on Mikhail. He won't try the Verstappen dive bomb into... that might actually be a different point, but he won't try it anyway. Into the corner. Down this bit we go, and I think you also get DRS here. Reina's substantially closer to the Aston Martin. Ziobati's dropping down the order. I think he might have had a spin out one of the corners. He gets going again. Interesting lines through here. Reina keeping it a lot more tight than the other three. But the Ferrari kind of will want to get himself back in and up the order a bit more. And you can see him all of a sudden very close to the back of the Aston Martin. He will want to push himself up the order to try and extend his championship lead even more, as the current reigning champion and the one who's currently at the top of the table. Good exit out of the final corner, but the Aston Martin can match it. And it might just be a case of, is the pack, is this a little DRS train that we've got? Remember, you got William Omar behind, but I don't think he has the pace to keep up. Maybe he does. Maybe I'm wrong. But you can just see, like, Fast and Furious is getting gained on a little bit by Reina, but he's looking comfortable. But will he be looking comfortable for long? DRS open for the Ferrari. He's gaining on the Aston Martin. Will he have time before the left-hander? Will he go for something down the inside? No, he won't. They were very close there, and Mikhail is very close with Dirty Spy, because Dirty Spy's managed to get past. So Dirty Spy will take the lead in this race, but back with DRS will come Mikhail, and around the outside he will go to reclaim his first place. Dirty Spy will be looking, and he doesn't have DRS, and all of a sudden this has brought Fast and Furious and then Reina back into it. Reina's dropped off a little bit, so maybe that he lost a bit of time in those in that corner where he got oh so close to the back. William Omar, the man who was in 5th place with a time penalty, has spun around and will get overtaken probably by Domi. But look how close these two are. Mikhail and Dirty Spy. Ziobati gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. But look how close these two are. Dirty Spy, oh, very, very wide line there. And we've got yellow flags in Sector 3 still. And into the pits goes Fast and Furious to serve that time penalty. Right, that's taken one man out of the equation. Can Reina get to the back of Dirty Spy and maybe even go for an attack for P2 or P1. We'll have to see. We've got 9 people watching, which is probably the highest amount of people we've had watching in a while. So I'll have a look to see if there's any action going on. We've got Fast and Furious just making his way out of the pits now. I wonder where this pit stop will actually put him. Obviously, we're only 6 laps in, so that was an early call. But I think it was to serve his drive-through penalty that he got under the virtual safety car. Having a look down the order, we've got Fast and Furious has come out in 11th place. It's not amazing. And he has not gone onto hard, so I think he'll have to make another pit stop before the end of this race. But we go back up to the top, well we won't, because Creative Coconut is about to make one. Down the inside, the Haas driver on the AlphaTauri, and it looks like that move's gone off quite well indeed. But back comes Domi now, you can see him riding on board alongside, and he is past the Haas driver around the outside. Good move there, gets the DRS back, and is back up into 4th place. There's a really good battle for 4th going on. But let's take our views back up to the fight for P1 and P2, because the McLaren is very close now to the back of the Alfa Romeo. William Omar spun around again, and he'll drop down the order probably into last place. Yes, he is. Shaky on the exit from Dirty Spy. Doesn't get DRS. This isn't a DRS zone here. And there is a really interesting fight going on there. Sorry, the camera glitched. I think you saw that. It looked like he was about to drive off the track. Zierbai gets another time penalty. Forrest jumps now into the pits. The man who started high and just got very unlucky. No DRS again, but into this left-hander. What can the McLaren or Dirty Spy do? We've got yellow flags, and oh no, that's Creative Coconut who's gone around. That's really unfortunate. William Omar retires from the session as well, with a crash possibly. He's in the pit lane. I'm not sure what's happened there, but he has retired. Look at this now, the McLaren of Dirty Spy, very close to the back of Mikhail, the man who started on pole, but he isn't able to get an overtake yet. DRS though, open for the McLaren, and he's going to try and reel Mikhail in, but look at this, he's just too far back. Mikhail is starting to pull out a gap. We go down now to Shotmaker, who's going to have DRS on the Alpine of Weimar. He's got a lovely slipstream here, and you'll see him take the 5th place spot on the inside. Can he hold it down the inside? Weimar's going to try and come back at him though. You can ride on board with Weimar all the way through, 3/10 the gap with them, and I think Shotmaker's got the move off nicely. The Red Bull is now forging his way up the field. As I say that though, bit too hot on the brakes now, and Weimar can try and get back at him. Just checking, Dirty Spy's close to the back of Mikhail again. Rayner's just keeping the same gap. We've got yellows in sector 3, and that's for Fast and Furious. A bad race gets worse for him. He started off high but got the drive-through penalty, and now he's back down to 11th where he came out of the pits due to a spin, I'm guessing. Not great for him. I think Weimar will just be stuck behind Shotmaker for the time being as we ride on board with Dirty Spy. DRS enabled for the McLaren driver, and he's going to be able to get the move done this time. He's going to go for it down the inside. Can he beat him on the brakes? No, because Mikhail comes back around the outside. They touch. Mikhail spins around. No, it's all gone wrong for the Alfa Romeo driver. He goes from 1st to 3rd in one corner because he clips the inside of Dirty Spy, trying to defend the position. He can make the argument that Dirty Spy cut into his line a bit too much, turned in on him a bit too much, and just cut him off. Dirty Spy will make the argument, well, he shouldn't have put the car there. At the end of the day, it's going to go to the stewards, and I feel like it's either going to go down as a racing incident or someone's going to get penalised. I'm not sure exactly. I think Dirty Spy could have given him more space, but he's definitely going to say, well, I didn't need to give him more space, it was my corner, I was ahead. Mikhail's then going to go, well, yeah, but I was then heading to the corner. It's going to be an interesting one for the stewards to call. I can't call it live, nor do I want to. But that's a bit of drama. Mikhail is going to need to start gaining on Rayner, because Rayner, it's interesting. He's such a fast and consistent driver. But it's not, Abu Dhabi's not been his track. Weimar running it wide there. He's got a penalty and almost hit the wall there. Shotmaker gaining on the back of Domi. Red Bull on the sister team being AlphaTauri. And he might be able to get a move done soon. Fast and Furious pits again. It's not great for the Aston Martin. Back into the pits he goes, and let's see what he does. Oh, look at this Mikhail now. really close to the back of Rayner already, and without the DRS help, Rayner has just dropped back further and further, and I think Mikhail, look at him now, DRS, he's going to go to the inside line. These two former championship rivals last season, Mikhail's still far off getting back into the championship, but he gets past Rayner, and could this be the start of a, well, he's really going to go for redemption here in this race. Look how close, by the way, look at the mini-map. I mean, a lovely shot here to see how Mikhail just pulls away. Rayner overcooking it a little bit and going wide, and he's going to drop off now massively from Mikhail. It's just a really nice shot to see. I knew Mikhail was definitely going to start trying to reel Dirty Spy in. He's already made almost a 1 second gap to Rayner, so he won't have to worry about the Ferrari driver behind him. Yeah, visors down. Mikhail's going to be pushing like it's the race of his life to try and get this win. He won last time out, of course. He's going to try and do it again. Mikhail will not rest until the battle is done here. And look at this, Domi has spun round. That is an incredible spin. Not in a good way, but what I mean by that is that was a very, very heavy spin indeed. He completely lost control of the car. And yeah, I mean, he is lucky to stay in the race. Let's see if he can get it back going. He's struggling with the tyres overheating. Does he have damage? He doesn't, which is incredible because that spin was ridiculous. It just snapped so hard and he went around very quickly. Now Jay, let's have a look at this, because into the left-hander onto the straight, which will give him a nice dosage of DRS down this straight. Can the Alpine launch an attack on the McLaren? Well, we might have to leave this camera angle, because if you have a look up here, Mikhail is closing in on Dirty Spy, and he's very close here. Batty and Weemark going at it. And oh dear, someone's gone off the track. I don't know who it is. It's Domi. Domi, the man who just had that horrendous spin, has gone off and he's out of the race. Someone went off the track before. It might have been Weemark. I'm not sure exactly. There's a lot of stuff happening, but I think it's more important to try and focus on the lead here, because Mikhail, he did have that contact with Dirty Spy. If he can get past and win, there might not be a steward's inquiry, and I say that because if he's won the race, then what's the point in going to the stewards in his eyes? He might not do it, but it's all on the basis that he gets past and then goes on to win the race. Let's see what happens. He's going to have a nice dosage of DRS. Rayner, by the way, he's gone into the pits. He's just left the pits, I believe, with a new set of tyres. DRS open for Mikhail. He's gaining on the McLaren driver. McLaren takes him to the inside. Is there enough space and time to go for a dive bomb down the inside? Yes, there is. The Alfa Romeo driver, can he make it work? They're going to be close. They're going to be very close. But this time, Dirty Spy can't send one back up the inside. And Mikhail has gone past into first place. He retakes the lead that he lost a few laps ago to a collision with Dirty Spy, which spun him around and put him behind Rayner. But that redemption drive has already happened because he's back past Dirty Spy. Now he's going to have to try and increase the gap if he can. Dirty Spy's not going to make it easy on him though. He's a very quick driver, especially around this track. He's shown it in qualifying, his pure pace, and he could have snatched pole if he didn't make that mistake. And look at him already closing that gap on Mikhail. We've got a really good fight for the lead here. Well, I say that. We did have a really good fight for the lead. Mikhail peels off into the pits, but he has left the braking too late, and he's hit the pit wall. This is terrible. What happened to be a really good move? Mikhail pits early, but he's broken his front wing in the process. Unbelievable. Let's see this stop from the Alfa Romeo boys, but they're gonna have to put the front wing back on. Hard tyres, is it? Yes, it is. Hard tyres for the Alfa Romeo, but oh no, that's lost him so much time in the pits. So he did have the redemption drive, then he pit, and then he messed up the pit, hit the wall, and now he's just given him a much more difficult, he's given himself a lot more of a difficult job to do. Not ideal at all. Trying to have a look up the field now. Yeah, it's pretty decently spaced. Weemark has come out behind Mikhail. Well, Mikhail's come out in front of Weemark, and Weemark might fancy his chances at trying to get past, but he is too far back to try and get a move on the Alfa Romeo. And for now, I think the race is just going to start to settle down a bit. But that was a really riveting bit of 12 laps we had there. Not something you always see, but we've still got 12 drivers left. I mean, the race is still all to play for. Dirty Spy has got pace, but Mikhail's arguably got more in this race. Could he get back? Could he still win? It's going to be a bit of a task for him, but it's not off the cards. Forrest Jump is now closing in on his teammate Shotmaker. Forrest Jump's pit, of course, he was in the front area of the pit, and there you go, Shotmaker. Team orders there from Red Bull. Obviously you can't really do team orders in F1. I do think when drivers do that, I just respect it, because it is really something that's respectable to do. Now Mickey Kyronen, obviously playing with Kimi Räikkönen. Jesus, can't speak. Comes out just ahead of Mikhail in the pits here, but he gets another time penalty. Rayner is now 3/10 off Dirty Spy. This is the one I wanted to watch, because look at this. Now he's got DRS. Dirty Spy's pit, but he's not really come out that far ahead of Dirty Spy. Rayner, sorry, because the undercut has worked brilliantly for Rayner, and he takes the lead of this race. On hard tyres, they both are. But Rayner is warmed up with those tyres and Dirty Spy isn't. And when it looked like Rayner didn't have a lot of pace, well, he's come back. For the time being, at least, he has taken the lead. How long will it last, though? Because Dirty Spy has got DRS, but you can see he's struggling with these tyres at the moment. That corner was just a bit wider than he probably would have wanted. Rayner is going to try and hold on to this as much as he can, but I don't think he'll put up too much of a fight, because... well, I mean, he could put up a fight because they've both got new tyres on that should take them to the end of this race. This is going to be a really interesting battle now that Dirty Spy's gotten involved with Rayner. Mikhail can start reeling them in. If they start fighting, this is going to help Mikhail's cause a lot. So let's see, Dirty Spy, 6/10 the gap, starting this lap. Take a note of that 6/10. We're going to see how much the gap is by the start of the next lap. Unless he's overtaken him by that point, which is entirely possible, because he's going to have DRS in two areas on this track. 2 areas of long straights with DRS. Here he is then. First dosage of DRS. 5/10 the gap going here, and this might be all he needs. Rayner's on the inside. Dirty Spy's going to go to the outside. You can see Track running out, but he just manages to stay in the lines. He's going to try it around the outside. Rayner's not going to make it easy on him, though. He's going to try and force it, but Dirty Spy gets past. However, does this mean that Rayner gets DRS for this next straight? Yes, it does. Can Rayner kind of pull him back in and get an overtake? I don't think he can. Dirty Spy's executed the overtake brilliantly, and he's back into first place. That is a good move from Dirty Spy. Rayner just doesn't have the pace, I don't think, this weekend to keep up with him. We go back to Mikhail now. He's dispatched Mickey. And he's now going to start pursuing Rayner as fast as he can. But 8/10 the gap. And there wasn't really much of a fight happening between the McLaren and the Ferrari. Unless Rayner can stop Dirty Spy from running away with it, Mikhail might be in a bit of trouble. But it's not over yet, because Rayner is still within 5/10 of Dirty Spy, Creative Coconut and Weemart having a bit of a race there. You can see down the inside, I think Coconut just... retakes the lead. Mikhail's setting fastest laps, by the way, so that's going to help him a bit. But Rayner is in about the same distance that Dirty Spy was when he started this straight. He's going to get DRS, but remember, if he doesn't get past here, he's got another dosage. Again, right, let's have a look. Fast and Furious takes fastest lap with hard tyres on. Rayner a bit too far back this time to make an attack with the DRS, but look how much closer he is. 3/10, 4/10 back to the gap is, but he's got another helping of DRS again. But I think he's too far back. I think he might just be too far back to try and make a move, which is unfortunate. I mean, it is. But it's going to keep Dirty Spy in the back of his mind. He's going to be thinking, well, I've got to make sure that Rayner can't just swoop in when I'm not paying attention. Dirty Spy's got to be on his toes. He's got to still be setting good lap times. Now we're going to go down because Shotmaker is quite close to the back of that Alpine, and Fast and Furious is quite close to the back of the Red Bull. Let's see, the Alpine doesn't have DRS. He's taken them to the inside. What's this? Shotmaker letting Fast and Furious by. So he's done that with 2 cars. He did that for his teammate and he's done it for Fast and Furious. Maybe he just doesn't want to get caught up in any battling that he knows he can't win. It's still interesting to see because you don't see it a lot. Reina, 7 tenths the gap, 8 tenths here, but he gets another time penalty and Reina is just so far back now. And he's still saying personal best sectors, but it does beg the question, how much pace does the McLaren have? Mikhail hasn't been able to close the gap down all too much, and the DRS isn't going to help too much, and that is Sindro, who's round again. Yellow flags in sector 3, Reina pushing it through the chicane, but again he's too far back, and that exit speed for Dirty Spy is unbelievable. And Mikhail is even starting to drop off a little bit, which is definitely not what you'd want to see if you were in his position. Fast and Furious closing the gap down on Jay, albeit not by too much, but he has got DRS down this straight. He's going to pull him closer and closer, and through this chicane he's going to get even closer. Fast and Furious, I'd count him out for the race win, but I wouldn't count him out for maybe even... Oh no, a podium! As I say that, the commentator's cursed. Something's happened with the car there, and he's just absolutely snapped on the throttle. I don't know what happened there, but he went around so quickly, it didn't even seem... It seemed fake. I don't know what happened there, but now I feel just really bad for Fast and Furious, because everything that was going wrong has just gone wrong for him. He finds himself in 9th, and he doesn't find himself with a path really back into this race, unless there was a safety car. And, I feel like virtual safety cars are quite easy to get on this track, but there aren't many places where you can justify a safety car because of how just open it is and runoff areas and whatnot. So unless there's just a car strewn in the middle of a track, then I wouldn't see the need for a safety car, full-blown safety car at least. Reina keeping the gap between Dirty Spy, Humble, but at the end of the day, I think Dirty Spy's just got a bit too much pace in his pocket to really get it done. Shotmaker coming out the pits now, so maybe that's why he was letting drivers by, because he was pitting soon anyway. Forrest jumps up to 4th now, and Creative Coconut was for a second close to Weimar, but I think he might just start to drop off a little bit, possibly. Might get back into this. You can see Fast and Furious is back into this. He's on Mickey now, goes to the left, and he's going to be able to get a move down the inside, and if you look behind him, a replica move, possibly, from Creative Coconut down the inside. That is one hell of a dive bomb from the Haas driver. The Alpine's going to try and stick it round the outside, but he can't. What a move from Creative Coconut. I mean, that was ballsy. Down the inside. Yeah, good move, but back with the DRS comes the Alpine, and maybe he just kind of let the move happen, knowing that he was going to get the DRS. The Haas comes in steaming behind him, almost hits him, but can just about stay out of it. And I think the same thing happened with Fast and Furious and Mickey. Mickey just kind of let it go past, but he gets the DRS again and gets past. But I think Fast and Furious and Creative Coconut, I think they do have pace. And I think they probably have enough pace to get past them and eventually start building a gap. But for now, the positions haven't swapped. We look further up. Reina, the gap there's only 7 tenths. He's keeping it consistent, but he isn't keeping it too close. And as I say that, the gap increases to 1 second, and the only thing keeping him in that 1 second is the fact that he just about picks up DRS for that corner. He's going to have to put in a blistering lap time if he wants to still get DRS, because he will start dropping back as the slipstream becomes less efficient and less useful for him. Right, Fast and Furious, he can have another crack at it. Here he comes, the Aston Martin driver, and you can see in the background there the Haas driver wants to have another crack at Weimar as well. Fast and Furious, so not close enough this time around. Creative Coconut's not close enough this time around. However, they're going to get another dosage of DRS. As we said before, down this straight, Reina's now officially dropped out of the DRS range, and that's going to help Dirty Spy. But let's have a look at this. The Aston Martin, McLaren's taking him to the inside, but he has got the DRS. Which way is he going to go? Try and force it around the outside, but it isn't going to work for now. Creative Coconut too far back as well. He's even more far back. So he certainly won't be able to make a move. But Aston Martin are Fast and Furious. Keep your eye on him, because look how close he's getting to Mickey. The papaya orange car being put under a lot of pressure from racing green Aston Martin, but it's still not enough pressure to force an error or get past, which is what Fast and Furious will be wanting to do. Just rear end has slid there for Fast and Furious, and he's now a second and a half behind Shotmaker on the medium, second fastest, and oh no, around goes the Aston Martin. He's going to re-enter the track, but it just gets worse. It just gets worse, and that was one of the only battles that was left on this track. This Creative Coconut will not have DRS. So I think Weemart will be secure for now. But yeah, that's just unfortunate, really. For Fast and Furious, he's not really been helped out, and someone who's not getting helped out at all is Rayner. I think he may have had a spin, and that's not what you want to do. Rayner has gone around. I'm guessing he's gone around because there's no way Mikhail's, there's no way he's dropped that far back on merit just from being slow. We know Rayner's fast. Normally he's consistent and doesn't make those mistakes, but something must have happened because Mikhail's now up into second. So, if it's anything of a consolation, he is setting purple sectors, as you can see, but he's still got such a job to do, and the gap is only getting bigger. 8, well, you know what? If he can pull a second a lap, then he might have some chances. If he can pull a second a lap, then he should be in esports, though. That's, I don't think it's you can't really ask him to pull a second. But if he can do it, then fair play. Mercedes, get him a contract for your esports team. We've got 5 people watching, and I thank you for those 5 people who stuck around. A very eventful race at the start, but we haven't had much in the way of action going on in the past few laps. Of course, we've had a few spins, a few overtakes just due to the spins, but other than that, Creative Coconut has got back in the DRS range of Weemart though, and he's dropped right back out of it, so no DRS again for the Haas driver. That's just unfortunate again. We were this close to getting a bit of action, but it was not to be. I wish I had something to say, like if you're a SkyQ or SkyGlass customer, click the red button on your remote to watch the race highlights alongside the live action. However, I do not have the ability to do that. And you guys are watching on Twitch, not Sky Sports, so yeah, doesn't really work like that, unfortunately. But Fast and Furious, he's made a few mistakes this race, but he does have pace, so he will be looking to get a move on that Haas car in not too long. Mikhail just not able to crack the time on Dirty Spy, and he's pulling away from Rayner, but he's not getting any closer to Dirty Spy now. 8 seconds is probably where he'll finish the race, unless he can really start to improve. But Fast and Furious, this is a little bit more interesting to watch now, as he'll get DRS down the straight, and so does Creative Coconut. But the Aston Martin is so much closer. Look at him gaining and gaining and gaining. You won't be able to make a move down the inside just yet, but Creative Coconut, they might start reeling themselves into Weemart, and then we can have a battle for 8th place in this race. It's not a lot of points. I believe it's only 4 points for 8th, but it is a few. And Fast and Furious might, I think it might have gone to Forrest Jump. I'm not entirely sure. Or Shotmaker, I recall having fastest lap, so we'll check that now. If we go to go to Gap, and we go to fastest lap, it is Shotmaker still. Fair play to him. He's been doing an alright job. Creative Coconut has a bit of a moment there, and look at this Fast and Furious all over the back of him. On the left hand side of the track, he's just trying to look for that place where he can have and get the move done, and down the inside was one of his options, and down the inside is where he went, and he's lost the rear end yet again, and now is lost out to Shotmaker, the man with fastest lap. So every time he gets close to getting an overtake done, he just loses it, really. It's just an interesting position that he finds himself in. That's really annoying. He could have had him down the straight. He definitely could have had him down the straight. But alas, it was not meant to be, and he's lost the rear end, and he's just lucky to still be in this race. If anything, the gap to Dirty Spy from Mikhail is now 9 seconds. He needed to pull a second a lap. Now he needs to pull about a second and a half a lap. It's just getting more difficult every lap. And unfortunately for Rayner, gotta drop my controller. Unfortunately for Rayner, no, not unfortunately for Rayner. Well, he's in third. There's nothing too bad about that as we ride on board with Shotmaker, who looks like he really wants to get a move on. The Haas driver tries it up the inside, can't get the move done, but he's going to stick in the inside. And look at this, still going, still in the slipstream. It's not over for the Red Bull driver. The Haas can't relax because he's still under pressure. 2/10, 3/10, going through this right-hander, then a left-hander, quite an elongated chicane into another sharp left-hander that's about a 90-degree turn. And here we go into the penultimate corner and then into the final corner here. Two sharp right-handers. This is a really technical part of the track, but Shotmaker's made it through them quite nicely, even suffering with dirty air. And now he can really start to launch an attack on the Haas driver this lap. Fast and Furious was there behind him, but he spun around again and he stopped on the main straight. This is not good for the Aston Martin driver at all. I wonder what's happened. He is starting to get going again. Shotmaker, 4/10 the gap now. Dirty air affects him a little bit, but he can still go. He tries it. I'm not even sure what happened there. I think he was just too late on the brakes. And Shotmaker nearly went into the back of the Haas. Manages to avoid him. Gets a bit of DRS down here. Is he close enough to go to the move? Go for the move? Well, he's going to go for it down the inside. We hit the braking zone. The Haas driver outbrakes him though. And Shotmaker's going to have to go for it again into this DRS zone. However, that probably was a strategic call from the Red Bull. Because look at him now. He's going to gain. He's going to gain. He's going to gain. Is he going to gain enough? I think he is. Because he's going to move to the inside of the track. Down the inside he goes. He gets past. Creative Coconut is not out of it though. He doesn't want to give up the position. And he's still fighting for it. A bit wobbly on the exit though. Is the Haas driver, and I think he's just going to have to settle with that 10th place, but he won't want to, I'll tell you that much. He wants that 9th place back, so he's going to be fighting to try and stay in the DRS and try and get past the Red Bull, but the Red Bull does have more pace. He is obviously on the fastest lap, and I think it's probably too much to ask for the Haas driver. Weemont, watch out, because Shotmaker's on a rampage. I'm just looking up and down the grid. We're back to having no action. Yeah, no, good driving though from Shotmaker. And he has made a good position there, and now he's trying to get another one done. And if he can get past now, if he's quick enough, he could go for Mickey as well and get himself into 7th. It's going to be a task, but it's not impossible. Here comes the Red Bull with DRS on the Alpine now. It all depends on how quick he is in comparison to Mickey, because down the inside he goes on Alpine, on the Alpine of Weemont, and he gets that move done through the chicane. Weemont's going to stick it up the inside in some hope of being able to keep ahead. He's got DRS though, so it's not over, because here back comes the Alpine. DRS enabled. Down the straight, good camera angle. Can he send one? Not quite. Around this long left-hander, kind of parabolica-esque, if you know Monza, into this really technical section with the kind of an elongated chicane. This is the final sector, and it's a tricky one if you're in the dirty air of a car. But it looks like Weemont's, coping all right, but not the best, because he's going to drop down, and the gap's now 8/10. And I think Shotmaker, yes, he's gone away with it, and it's almost a replica of what Fast and Furious and Domi both have done, because unfortunately for Weemont, he is another one to fall victim to the commentator's curse, and he has spun around on the start finish straight now. So I feel like I'm the one to blame. I don't think I should watch anyone else do the start finish straight, because I'm a bad omen, clearly. Anyway, Shotmaker now has a massive gap to Mickey, and it doesn't look like he's going to close it anytime soon. However, as I say that, I think that might have been Dirty Spy, and yes it is. Dirty Spy's gone around. So Mikhail needed a miracle to happen to try and get back into it, and the miracle has just came because Dirty Spy spun around on the start-finish straight. I wasn't even watching him. You can't blame me for the commentator's curse. I did say I wouldn't, but so he must have spun around just out of that corner. He's gone quite a distance, but the gap is now closing, and Dirty Spy's going to go into panic mode because back into this race, Mikhail, you can see him in the background. The gap now 1.7 seconds, and he's going to be thinking, well, game on. Let's push. Let's go all out, and let's try and close this gap. Obviously, Dirty Spy's been able to keep the gap, and the round goes fast and furious again. It doesn't get much better for him. Dirty Spy's been quicker than Mikhail over this race, but now his tyres might be a little bit wrecked. We'll have a look. They don't look too bad, but comparing them with the man who's setting purple sectors still, Mikhail, he's got pace, but he needs to close this gap down if he wants a chance of winning it. Remember, it's not just a simple task of getting past Dirty Spy. He's going to fight you back, and the gap's starting to go back up again to 1.5, back down to 1.4. You don't know how much I want there to be a battle at the end. It makes it so much more interesting. You know, I don't want any particular driver to win. Dirty Spy probably deserves a win because he's been so rapid, but Mikhail has just gone fastest yet again. The gap's now 1.2, and it is definitely game on here at Yas Marina. Rainer 6/10 off Mikhail, so it will just be these two to the line. Mickey's now getting closer to the back of the Alpine of Jay, going through what I've said before, this technical section of the track. 7/10, 6/10, it's lingering around that time, but I think Mickey's going to start reeling him in, and you can see it happen now. Shotmaker's not going to be able to get anywhere near these two for the remainder of this race, and look at this now, 3/10 the gap as we go on the start-finish straight into that left-hander, where you can get it terribly wrong, but it's not common to make mistakes here. Here it is though, because it's a very fast part of the track, and I've seen many people overshoot it, go too wide or whatnot. They were both relatively tidy through there though, and Mickey's going to get a nice bit of DRS down this extremely long straight. This is the main overtaking point. The DRS flap is open, and with the gap only 2/10, it's almost a no-brainer who's going to come out on top here. The papaya orange McLaren pulls to the left-hand side. They are neck and neck into the left-hander. Can the Alpine stick it round the outside? Oh, he tries to stick it back at the inside, and we've seen Weimar do that before his teammate, but he isn't able to do it there, and Mickey gets past to take 6th place on the 28th lap. Jay will come back with the DRS, but I think he's too far away to launch an attack. Someone who's looking comfortable, a lot more comfortable than I thought they'd be, is Dirty Spy. Huge mistake, but I think he's redeemed himself, and I think he should be able to keep hold of his victory, which, to be fair to him, is well earned. Mikhail might have something to say at the end about the collision that they had. Maybe the stewards might do something, but who was at fault? I'm not sure. And I'm sure the stewards will have a good look at it. They'll have a better angle. They'll have the two onboards from the drivers. They'll get sent in at the end of the race. But yeah, it's hard to say. I can just say it might have just got put down to a racing incident there. But with 1.2 seconds the gap, and about to started already. Sector 3 has Dirty Spy. It's looking like Mikhail launching a last lap attack is looking pretty difficult now. As we look further down the order, we've only got 12 drivers to finish, which isn't too bad. Like I said before, we started with 15, we've only lost 3. But yeah, it's pretty much the ball has been Dirty Spy's park pretty much all race. 9 seconds the gap was at one point. Now it's only 1 second and 3/10. But oh, and it has gone down quite a lot in that final corner, but it goes back up again. He's going to cruise home to victory here, unless he makes a mistake. And sooner rather than later, we'll see the McLaren emerge victorious, unless some ungodly thing happens and Mikhail gets closer. I mean, he is just out of DRS range. He's got a little bit of a slipstream down the straight. Is he gaining? He's so far back. He is gaining though. It's all down to this last lap. I've said it before. I've said it many times before this race. It's not over yet. He doesn't get DRS though, but he does have a decent slipstream. Stick around for the end of this race because they're going to get very close indeed. 7 tenths the gap, and I think Dirty Spy's tyres might start to fall off now. I don't think Mikhail's got enough track to go. Maybe if he had one more lap left, maybe he would have been able to do something. But I don't think the checkered flag could come quick enough for Dirty Spy. He'll round the final few corners, and there's not really anywhere you can go for an overtake in this final sector. And that should secure Dirty Spy, after a long wait for this win, he will be able to cross the line and win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He was very close with Mikhail at the end, but he managed to hang on. Looking down the order, Rayner will cross the line next and take third, rounding out the podium. Then it will be Forrest jumping the Red Bull. Let's just look down because I don't think there is actually any battles going on at all. We will now see Forrest jump round the final corner to take fourth. Not a bad showing from the man in the Red Bull. We look back at Mickey in the McLaren as well. This is going to do them a world of good in the Constructors' Championship, and McLaren 1-5, not too shabby at all. He'll cross the line and take fifth. Ziabati behind him with an absolute multitude of penalties. Finishes sixth, and those penalties will knock him down to seventh. But if seventh's it, then he's cut off. Lucky. Jay finishes sixth, and drops down to eighth now. Shotmaker up to seventh. Creative Coconut next to cross the line. And that will be in ninth place unless Ziabati drops one more again, and no he doesn't. Weimar will finish 10th with a penalty. And this man, Fast and Furious, he could have done it. He could have won. And that's the worst bit. He just got so unlucky. He finishes 11th. The only two drivers who didn't score points who finished. It was just unfortunate for him. But it could have gone very differently. Jay gets driver of the day. If anyone in chat can type, then who do you think your driver of the day was? We'll have a look and I'll say who I think mine was. But that will be at the end of the race, because for now, Dirty Spy, he's been waiting for this one. He's been waiting for this one, I can tell you. And look at him. He walks out with with an interesting celebration there. But he lifts the trophy here in Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina circuit, and he can spray the champagne, and it's a sigh of relief because he wins. It was a close battle between him and Mikhail at the end. Mikhail did reel him in. The gap was down to 6 tenths as they crossed the line. Yes, that's right, 6 tenths. But it was 9 seconds, only a few laps before, because he did make a mistake. So lucky to finish there. Mikhail fastest lap, and I don't even think it was close with anyone there. I mean, have a look at that. Well raced, Mikhail, well raced. Started pole though, so yeah. I think there's definitely going to be something said maybe at the end of the race, because Dirty Spy did have contact with Mikhail, but I just don't see a penalty. I think it might be a racing incident. I'm not entirely sure. But Mickey starting from 13th and finishing 5th. And Jay starting 14th and finishing 6th. I'm going to give my driver of the day to Mickey. Obviously the game gave it to Jay, but I'm thinking Mickey solely because, I mean, 13th into 5th, top 5 finish. Really nicely done actually. And he's been doing pretty good lap times. He was silent in the race, but yeah, well raced. But that brings to a close the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. If you did enjoy, then, well, I enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, then please come back next week. And I'll tell you actually what race we have next week. It might be. Let's have a look, shall we? We have the Austrian Grand Prix. So, Austria. If you're interested, the Austrian Grand Prix on next week here at Aurora Racing League. I should be commentating it. I think I will be. So to whoever this interests, then yeah, stick around. Join us next week and watch that. If Austria, which is normally an entertaining race, if Austria is anything as interesting as Abu Dhabi was, then it's a no-brainer to stick around. There was a decent race there. and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys did as well. Thank you to everyone who tuned in over the course of the stream, and have a lovely, have a lovely rest of your day, whether that's in the morning, afternoon, or evening. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you again next week. Thanks.